So here's part 3 in the knife making vlog, the knife that I'm making for my brother. Here I'm adding some blue layout dye. It's called Dicom, or Dicom is the brand name. And it's waterproof, and so I can dip the knife in water, it won't come off or anything. But it helps me keep an eye on where my scribe lines are, so I don't overgrind or undergrind. Here I'm just adding a second coat to the cutting edge. These calipers I'm using to get a final thickness on the blade. Just an average final thickness, because I need to get the center of the cutting edge. And then this digital height gauge that I'm using to scribe the center of the cutting edge. I need to get a better one. This is a cheap one that I got on Amazon, and I really need one with a carbide tip that won't wear out as quick. And here I go grinding post heat treat. So that's a 10-inch wheel that I'm using, and I'm cutting in, basically I'm doing the same thing I did pre-heat treat. I'm cutting in 45 degree angles down to about 10 thousandths of an inch. Preheat treat, I ground down to about 40 thousandths, so right there it's pretty much 40 thousandths of an inch, or a millimeter. And I need to get it down to about 10. So I'm just cutting that in here on each side. So I start grinding in the final bevels. This thing that I have attached perpendicular to the blade is called a file guide, and I really need to use those when I'm doing bevels to keep my plunge lines consistent. It's pretty hard otherwise, for me anyway. And I am dipping the blade in water frequently to keep it cool. Um, I also have my grinder turned way down so that the blade won't overheat and pull the temper out. And this big eraser thing, it cleans the grit out of the belt. I use it a lot when I'm making handles. It just extends the life of your belts. So basically, when I'm hollow grinding like this, I find hollow grinding a lot easier than flat grinding on a flat platen. Because once you get a groove, you just stay in that groove. And I think after anybody's done it a few times, they can get the hang of it. I'm still, getting better at it. Every knife I make, I get a little bit better. There you can see there's a facet towards the tip, and I just gotta keep going until I get it out. I have enough metal left on the blade there to work it out. If I didn't have enough metal there, I'd be in trouble. And sometimes when you're fixing a facet like that, you might fix it, but then you form another one somewhere else. So it's kind of frustrating. So I switched to a 120 grit belt here. This is a 120 grit J Flex belt, and it's much more flexible than those ceramic belts that I was using before. The previous grit that I was just using was 80 grit. That's post heat treat. Pre-heat treat, I was using a 36 grit. And I just got my finger there. Not exactly the same on both sides, but it's pretty close. And it was getting pretty thin towards the tip, so I decided to stop at this point. Well, except for this. I think I was um, trying to get the plunge line better right there, but I pretty much had stopped. Here I'm putting some more layout dye on the what's going to be the false edge. Just scribing the center line again. There's no way I could do this without having being able to turn my grinder on the side. I have an OBM grinder, but as far as I know, they don't make one that tilts or will turn on its side. Um, that's something I had to modify myself. This is back to an 80 grit belt again. I didn't even really need to be dipping it in water at this point. I was just doing it to keep it cool. And here's 120 again, or 120 grit. I think I'm going to go up to an 800 grit for the false edge with the 10-inch wheel. And I'm going to do a hand sand on the main bevel. And here's the final look of the knife. Except the heat treat marks on the flats, those will be hand sanded off. It'll be shiny chrome metal. And here is a knife that I made for myself in September. And I'm just showing this. I'm going to film this part too, but I just wanted to show how my brother's knife's handle is going to look. It's going to be almost identical to that. I used Corby bolts for the fasteners, and then my brother wants Hunter Orange liners. I have a black liner on that handle, and then his liner is going to be the same color as the ferro rod that I have in the sheath there. But the sheath is going to look similar, and the handle is going to look almost identical. The ferro rod I made myself. I ordered the ferro rod blanks on Amazon. I think I got 10 of them for like 15 bucks or something. And then the little handle I made myself, and then put a bit of shot cord on there to hold it into the sheath. And then on his sheath, he's also going to have, like I got there, a tech lock. It's called a tech lock. It just attaches to your belt. So that's it. Part 4 should be coming pretty soon. So please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.